before starting this profit and loss, basically the financials will quickly go to the news articles, then we'll come back to the finances. In finance, we have with profit and loss and financial position for DAISTRUK and our competitors also. That is carry group. We'll come back to it. Okay. Before that, let's look at the share price. Share price is very important. As we know from the shareholders' perspective, there are two ways we can earn and grow the company. Their expectations are increase in share price and increase in dividend. Right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the value of a business, in normal calculation, we can say share price into number of share is the value of the business. So ideally, for a business to grow, we need sustainable growth in share price. All right. If you see here, we have data from 31st March 2018 to 31st March 2023. Almost 5 years. So if you see overall in 5 years, our share price has been good. We were around 6 to 8 round line dollar, R dollar. Now we are around almost 12 or maybe 11, we can say. Highest we touched was around 15, 16. We almost double, but from 21 it went down. Maybe COVID or something like that can be the reason. Yeah. So ideally, the share price should go up, but we should understand that for any business, there will be fluctuation in share price. Only thing here is if you see in 2021, it was very much down, which is rare. So we can talk about this. What may be the reason? Like COVID, lockdown can be one of the reason. Okay. Apart from that, maybe some internal issues. We are just guessing. We are not sure what is going to or what was the reason why it happened. Maybe if we do the industry analysis, we'll understand if it is the trend across the industry, because there are two types of risk. One is internal and one is external. This may be due to the internal issues or external issues. Share price related questions are very common in your exams. Anything happen, first thing is your share price will react. So you have to be very careful in answering this, how we can maintain the share price. Is it something serious or is it normally? In normal time also, share price can keep on fluctuating. Okay.
Yeah.
So currently we can say we are around 11 and 12. Remember this, highest we touch was around 15, 16. One positive point you can add is constant fluctuation is there. Overall, the company is growing. But at the same time, there is no proper risk management here of the share price. In 2021, it went down a lot. What might be the reason? Especially if it is internal, it can be a problem. Next is DAISTRUK's beta 1.27. What is beta? We'll see this in F3, but just for an idea, beta is the risk factor. Imagine one company's beta is 1, exactly 1. That means the company has equal risk according to the industry. For example, whatever industry level risk is there. Now we are a logistic company. So in logistics, what are the risks? Maybe natural calamities, geopolitical issues, changes in legislation, tax, custom duty. All of these are what? It is external. Okay. So if it is 1.0, that means our risk is equal to the industry risk. But very rare it will be 1.0 or 1 exactly. It can be less than 1 or more than 1. For example, in one of the previous case studies was 0.69. So we can say it was 31% less risky than the industry. Now it is 1.27. So what we can conclude is it's 27% more riskier than the industry. All right. So what do you think? Being more riskier is good for us or it can be a problem? How stakeholders will look at it?
So, I mean, there are two things, like when it is 1.27, it implies like the company's share price is more volatile, means it is more risky, and it depends on what stakeholders are having, like what what their nature is, like they are risk neutral or risk taker. So that way, if they want to earn highest return, then they will definitely go ahead with the risk and the volatile shares. It depends on their appetite.
Okay.
But if they are risk neutral, definitely this stock investing in this company will be more risky for them to invest.
Excuse me. Being risk neutral is very difficult when you start investing in the business.
Okay.
Maybe less riskier. So
Yes.
ultimately, we can look it in such a way when the risk is more. Now it's 27% more riskier. Okay. Now your friend invest in a business where it is 1.1 or let's say 1.0, exactly 1. So who will expect more returns? You will expect more return. Why? Because you are taking more risk. It's logical. As a shareholder, if I'm taking more risk, I want more return. If I'm taking less risk, I'm expecting what? Less return.
Less returns. Yes.
So here the return should be more, at least around 27 to 30% more than the market average.
Correct.
Okay. And this risk is not only for the shareholder, it is for the lenders, it is for the banks, it is for the employees and everyone. Having said that, this 27% is not such a big deal. Because if you see the industry leaders, if you talk about Tesla or Amazon, any industry leader in any industry, usually they have more risk than the industry average. Why? Because they are taking higher risk, therefore they are growing at higher speed. If they are not taking higher risk, they cannot lead the industry. That's basic. That goes without saying actually. If you want to lead a thing, you have to be the risk taker. Sometimes the most risk taker also. Okay. Now we have readers comics or news stories. Actually, it is a new edition. Usually they used to give only news stories, but they have now added little bit of happy comic kind of thing. So the reason for this is to give you an extra idea. If there's a knowledge gap or something, they are just adding to it. And they give up as a happy comic or a children's comic. Students are asking some basic questions and there is a clarification. We get some idea, and apart from that, we can do some research, and industry research also will get an idea about it. You don't need to remember all of this, but just for the knowledge. Okay, question. Excuse me. I see lots of trucks carrying shipping containers. How do they transport goods that can't be carried in a big metal box? What the question this Anita is asking? I see lots of trucks carrying shipping containers. Trucks are carrying shipping containers. How do they transport goods that can't be carried in big metal box? So basically, what is shipping containers? They are trying to explain us. Shipping containers have standard dimensions that make them easy to stack on the deck of cargo ships. This is very similar. Not only the shipping decks, the stacks, but everything is standardized now. Then only it's easy to transport. Being a standard side also makes it easy to carry them on trailers towed by articulated trucks and on railway wagons. If you see, there is a standardization on the ship, on the trucks, on the railway, and everywhere. So one of the stakeholders, we can even add these people who are manufacturing this. There may be some companies who are manufacturing this, isn't it? Maybe they are in Roundland or maybe they are outside. Plus, you have to do the painting, anti-corrosion, all of this. Who will take that responsibility? That self is a cost, right? Because if it is raining, any weather situation, it should not get affected. All right. Container loads of goods can be transported all over the world, getting transferred between ships, trains, and trucks without having to be unloaded until they reach their destination. So such a level of connectivity is there. Once they are in ship, maybe if it is intermodal, it will go to train, then from there directly to trucks. Most containers are just metal boxes, which are ideal for carrying a huge range of goods, ranging from mobile phones to fruit. Again, when it is about different things, obviously the container should also be facilitating that things. For example, if it is for mobile phone, it will be different. If it is for food item, maybe temperature will be different. some things might be frozen. Okay, all of this should also be adjusted. When it's frozen, it will require energy also, temperature control. Lot of requirements will be there. It is, however, possible to create containers for other purposes. For example, there are containers that open at the top, which makes them ideal for loading and unloading bulk products such as wheat and grain. That is all together, right? Wheat and grain will be different. Containers can also be supplied as tanks for carrying liquid or gas. Those are built into frame that lets them stack with standard metal containers, and they also fit on the same trailers and wagons as standard containers. So basically, it's standard from outside, but internally it is bespoke, climate wise, temperature wise, and obviously the requirement wise. Like if it is liquid gas or something, so health and safety will be a primary concern here. If it is food item, it will be a different. If it is wheat, altogether different. And any confusion here? I hope it's quite basic to understand.
No confusion. I mean, I was just reading this name Anita, and age is 11 years. I mean,
Yeah. So
okay,
basically, what they are trying to do is children comic.
okay.
Children are asking question to certain experts. If you see, this is from comic, happy comic, children's comic, and they're asking questions because this is like from child's mind. Oh, why it is all the same and things like that.
Correct. So this is just for the information for us, right? Or
Yes,
okay.
just for the information. Because some things will be very basic, so but still they want to give us the information, knowledge gaps. So they are putting it here, nothing else.
Okay.
So one thing we can understand here is, imagine we are forecasting that our demand for liquid gas or food item is going to increase. So what we have to do? We have to arrange these containers. Maybe you got the order and you don't have the containers in DAISTRUK. What you will do? We might lose up the client, or maybe we have to lease from someone, ultimately affecting the cost, isn't it? So proper planning is very, very important. Please write this point, because if you're expecting certain things to come in, we should have the proper resources to support it. Otherwise it can be a reputational risk also. We are not able to cater the demand, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay, so we have one more from the happy comic. This from Rocco age 12. Again, same logic. Okay, why do some trucks have big curtains along the side? Wouldn't metal be a lot stronger? So it's very logical. Anybody can think, why they have this instead of the entire thing. We might also have these kind of trucks. Okay, some trucks and some shipping containers are designed to open at the side, as you can see in the screen. In fact, they are called curtain sides. The side openings make it easier to load and unload them using forklift trucks. That can be very convenient if goods at the front of the container have to be unloaded first. I mean, this is very basic. Maybe you guys have already seen. Even I have experienced this. If you're ordering something, let's say there are some companies who are delivering you food items. Okay, they only do limited products. But when they are coming for delivery, that entire truck will be full because they have to optimize this. And if your delivery comes first, it's not that it will be loaded at the last. Maybe it was in the front. So you can open from the side, use a forklift, take it out without disturbing everything. Imagine if it doesn't have a curtain and your load is in the front. How difficult it will be to take everything out, then put it back. And how time consuming it will be also.
Correct.
So just for the utility, make it user friendly, they are doing it. As far as safety is concerned, it's very, very strong. Though it looks like a curtain, but it's not that. It's very strong material used. So basically, this gives us idea. Even DAISTRUK can go beyond that. If we feel like we can even alter it, bespoke it, tailor it according to our need. I don't think it should be any problem. Even our R&D team can look into it, how we can make it more effectively to save the time. If you save the time at the delivery point, we are saving the cost, saving the resources, ultimately affecting our profits. Because when it goes, it can affect the traffic, maybe for, unless the truck is there, maybe for that time the customers are also waiting for it to get it down. It can affect. At the same time, if it is done in 5 minutes, it will be a win-win situation for the customer also and for us also, especially in the last mile, outbound logistics. Even in warehouses, it will save the time. The curtains are made out of very strong materials, so they don't tear easily. Also, the cargo is secured to the floor, so the load doesn't lean against the curtain. If you see here also, the cargo or whatever the small packages we have, it is not moving inside, it's kind of still inside. It's very similar to what we have in the cargo planes. Even in a normal flight, when we are traveling, you will see when they are putting load inside, our baggage and everything, they don't move here and there. It's all stock and with the belts. Same thing we are using here, because if it keeps on moving, it can affect the driver. You might not have noticed, but some trucks have curtain tops. As I said, it can be bespoke, anything we can do. The sides are solid, but the roof is a sliding curtain that can be opened and closed. That can be very convenient when loading loose goods such as coal, which can be poured in once the top has been slid open. Even we can use this for grains and food items. Here, one way to look at it is DAISTRUK can use more advanced techniques to design these trucks to make it more friendly, user friendly. Okay. Deepan, are you there?
Yeah, I am
I
here.
hope he's there. Okay. I hope you have seen this, Deepan, in the UK when you go to supermarkets. Very common. This type of trucks with the curtains. Okay. We have last. This is from Asim, again age 11. My dad operates a forklift at South City Port, but he doesn't have a license to drive a car. Is he breaking the law? So, as you know, it doesn't require a license, but it is a part of health and safety. Maybe in the future, government can come up with at least some basic requirements. The driver should have basic requirements to be followed before he or she drives the forklift. The good news is that there is no need to have a car license in order to operate a forklift truck. This forklift truck. Forklift drivers do, however, need to have completed formal training program. That is important because forklifts can be difficult to drive. Loads can make a forklift very unstable if the forks are lifted too high. They can also block the driver's view of anything or anyone in the road ahead. It can block the view. You have seen the forklift, right? When they lift heavy load, they lift from the front side. So the problem is they cannot see what's in front of that, and that will affect their view. So basically, this we can look from the health and safety perspective. Right? Hello?
Yes, listening.
So health and safety should be there. And maybe that person should have the complete idea how things are placed. Otherwise, it can be a problem. I'll just show you a quick photo. You see this driver here? Can you see this?
Loading. Yes.
The front
Yeah,
is entirely blocked.
correct.
And if the driver is new and doesn't know whereabouts in the place, easy it can hit somewhere. They will have some risk management, but still, the training, everything should be done effectively. Otherwise, it can be a problem.
Yeah, it's too risky. Yes.
Too risky. It can affect the entire thing. And just to save the time, it can be overloaded many times. And they don't have proper license. License is all about safety. If you know, one of the problem why people don't get license, especially in Western world, it's difficult because their view is not clear. They have problem with concave or convex mirror we use. So some people are not very comfortable watching nearby things. Some people are not comfortable watching far away things. That can also affect. But here we
Eyesight.
don't know what's the problem.
Mm. But then even if the license is not there, there should be some certification issued to these people who have attended the training.
Yes, I think DAISTRUK should do that. Write it down.
Yes, correct.
This can be an important part. They are just saying about program, but are we checking their eyes, health and safety,
Correct.
eyes, ears? It's very important. Anything else? Okay. Now we'll go to the news articles. Okay, so how to look at the news article? In exam, if you feel like this can be used as reference, well and good. Secondly, news article gives us a hint what type of questions can come in the exam. There is one pre-scene. They have 3 news articles. Here we have 2 actually. So all 3 were focusing on environment only. And guess what? We got a question from environmental issues. Okay. And this news article is like, Telegraph. We have a newspaper in UK. Same thing. They're telling us what's happening in the market. It gives us hint of the industry also. Not directly, but indirectly, it gives us an idea. Now that fully automated container terminal, just what Adani is doing here. They're one of the business in India. Same thing they are coming up here. So why can't we acquire more port, or at least we have our own port? How we can automate it? If you want to automate, this much will be the cost. How you'll raise the finance? How you'll manage the risk? How it will affect our stakeholders? How it will help us to reduce the environmental effect? How it will make our business sustainable? How we can reduce our dependency on roadways and move little bit to waterways? Or maybe how it can help us to improve the trade internationally. Maybe that can be in line with the government policy also to increase the export. What any government wants. Any government wants to increase the export and reduce the import. Isn't it?
Yep.
All of these points we can interlink. Okay. So Roundland's first fully automated container terminal. So the first one. Okay. That means still there is lot of chance to grow. However, we have around 6 out of 6. One is fully now. Okay. DAISTRUK, the major logistic company, has just completed the modernization of both of its inland ports. So we ourselves has done it. Maybe we have in the pipeline to do the second one also. Or maybe we want to acquire new one, then do it. Both parts have now been fully automated by the purchase of 40 VV-Bond 3000 straddle carriers, all of which are fully automated, something like this. So basically, when we are first meet our competitors, what is our computer name? Carry, right? Carry. So Carry doesn't have it. Again, this becomes a strength. When you do SWOT analysis, add this as a strength. First, more advantage you'll get. All of which are fully automated. Software and sensor enable these carriers to operate without a driver. Again, dependency on the technology. I think we might need to outsource some of this. Handling this level of software and sensor internally can be difficult. We might have to go to the expert. If you are doing internally, then we have to invest in it and get the best of people, because directly or indirectly this is also becoming our USP.
Correct.
A small mistake here can cost us big. They can load and unload both trucks and railway wagons, carrying fully laden shipping containers to their desired location. Either transferring them from one vehicle to another or stacking them up to 4 units high for temporary storage. It's very comfortable, right? 4 units high. It's very difficult to again do with the machine, but it's become very convenient and time saving. A spokesperson from DAISTRUK commented that the modernization meant that the company should carry even more goods by rail instead by road. This we expected in the start only because of the environmental part plus the cost part. Going by road can be almost 9 to 10 times more expensive. And ultimately, it will increase the value of the good also. It can affect the inflation also. The automation improves reliability because the company will be less vulnerable to shortages of skilled crane drivers. So one of the risk you can write is crane drivers. Getting the crane drivers can also be a risk. There's a shortage of that. So 3-4 points to remember here. First is depend on the software. Secondly, we might have to look for automation of other things also. Third is, I mean, in a strength, we can say in a positive way, we have done it. Fourth is this crane drivers. At one place is fine. We discuss this drivers, skilled drivers, even the bigger trucks, maintaining them and retaining them can also be a challenge.
Challenges.
As we know, these drivers are earning better than a lot of engineers and finance professionals because they are in demand. What we hear in Canada and everywhere, it's very true. Even in UK, that's the story. And last one is motorway chaos disrupt holiday travel. Roundland Delhi. 3 trucks carrying oversized loads created a massive holdup on the M12 motorway, delaying holiday makers who were attempting to catch flights from Central City Airport, which is located by the M12 motorway, I believe M12. The trucks in the questions belong to DAISTRUK. So what is this? This is a kind of a negative news for us. It's a reputational risk.
Social risk, reputation risk.
Yes. And this in the national newspaper, very famous newspaper. I don't know why they put it. Maybe we don't have good relationship with this, or our competitors have motivated them to put it, or maybe the issue is that big. Because we understand sometimes these newspaper guys can work bias. They must be favoring our competitor. So remember, having a good relationship with the newspapers and this media house is very important. I hope you have added media house also as a stakeholder.
Correct.
You have seen in the real world also, you have to maintain good relation. A lot of companies, they'll advertise in every newspaper, almost every newspaper. Maybe that is not benefiting for them in terms of sale, but still they do it. Reason being, they want to maintain the relationship. Otherwise, any small issue, they can just keep on, posting it. Imagine the same news should be on the front page of the newspaper. How it will be taken by the stakeholder. Might affect our share price also.
Correct.
Okay. So the trucks in question belong to DAISTRUK. They might have even said the truck in question belonged to one of the leading logistic company. What was the reason to name our company, right? They would have still reported. Anyways, it's a reputational risk for us. The logistics company. A spokesperson told that Roundland Daily that the vehicles had been scheduled to leave 4 that morning, 4 a.m., but a mechanical problem with one of the vehicles had delayed departure by 2 hours. Write this point. If there is a mechanical problem, usually in this, logistic businesses, especially crane services and everywhere, mechanic is very important. If there is any small breakage happening, if you are getting to the mechanic outside, that person coming in and should have the proper equipment and expertise, it can be a problem. Please write this as one of the risk. Okay. We need proper mechanics. We need SOPs in place to do it more efficiently and effectively. We cannot depend on third parties for this. Done?
Yes.
Okay. But a mechanical problem with one of the vehicles had delayed departure by 2 hours. That meant that the trucks and their escort were passing the airport during the morning rush hour. Maybe it is debatable. They would have waited few hours because morning to airport is very busy, until midday. Holding up traffic in the process. The size of the loads meant that the trucks occupied 2 lanes of the motorway, leaving only a single lane for motorists trying to get to the airport and beyond, which caused substantial tailbacks of traffic. The large loads also meant that the trucks were restricted to 40 km per hour. What is the speed limit we have now? 40 kilometers. That also we came to know now.
Mm.
40 kilometers. And what is the maximum they can drive? How many hours? 9 hours.
9 hours time. Yeah, 9 hours a day.
9 hours a day. 350 kilometers they are driving per day. I hope that 9 hours does not include that lunch time. Otherwise, it can even reduce if it is one driver. Okay. There are very strict rules concerning the carriage of oversized loads on public roads. Again, remember this point, oversized loads we cannot do. It can be tempting for us. Oversized, overweight, because for any logistic company, if they can reduce the number of trips, they are saving cost. Simple as that. But the rules are very strict. This includes the need for drivers to be accompanied by attendants in the cabs of the trucks, vehicles to be fitted with marker board and additional lighting, and the provision of escort vehicles to prevent road users from getting too close to the load. So if you see this lightning vehicle here, sorry, you see this lightning vehicle is just coming up with that, like a warning sign to other people.
Yeah.
There are also strict rules on the maximum size and weights that can be carried. Central City Police confirmed that they had been notified of the load. DAISTRUK had complied with all applicable regulations. No accident has been reported. Okay. But again, you write a risk. Imagine if we are going now and somebody got injured. What will do? Do we have our own first aid? Will we take that person to hospital? How will deal with the emergency services? Just write that also as a risk. Not only in this situation, but any other situation also. We'll have third party insurance, everything in place. Okay, we might use reflectors, but still there is a possibility because we have thousands of vehicles. Anytime this can be happen. Maybe somebody is drunk and drive, or any other issue can come in, or they have brake fail. Any issues if they come and hit us also, it might be taken other way around, that DAISTRUK has hit or any reputational risk. Just like in this case, despite following everything, we're doing everything legally, but still we got a reputational risk here.
Mm.
Okay, imagine this thing is the question. How you'll react, not react, mostly how you'll respond to this news. What would be your response? Imagine because of this, our reputation is getting affected. And if they ask you in the CIMA exam, how you'll react to this news article? What do you think? Think for 2 minutes. Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, Deepan. Who want to go first?
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, Deepan, I was saying now we have got this reputational risk because of the news article. How
Yeah.
DAISTRUK should react to it or respond to this news? Response. Are you outside, Deepan? Lot of background noise is coming. Hello.
Yeah. I'm just traveling actually. I'm just going home traveling.
Okay. Okay. Did you hear the question?
Yeah. So how DAISTRUK is going to react of this incident, right?
Yes.
Motorway
How?
chaos
What will be your
disrupt
response?
holiday travel. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So to instead of reacting on it, I think DAISTRUK approach should be responding on this news,
Yeah.
because so while responding, we will definitely, this is because just because this is a reputational risk, that DAISTRUK, we should I mean uh, connect to the people and respond on this news, and we have to accept that this had happened by the DAISTRUK and will not happen in the future. And at the same time, when we are attending to the we are attending this social issue on the media, we also have to check on and investigate what, when and how it happened. And then we also need to connect to the respective department heads to understand the risk behind it in the future, where we are falling short from the process point of view, and then we need to correct it, and we'll have some try to reduce this or not to repeat this in the future. So that way, from process point of view, we need to investigate where we are lacking, and to have more focus on the mechanical, to mitigate the mechanical problem or the breakdowns. So that we need to just do the internal analysis of our processes.
Right. Basically, we have tried to understand why this thing is occurred.
And also, can I say something?
Yeah. Yes, please.
No, I'm saying that in this scenario, actually the company should have a crisis response team who can deal with the situation as early as possible, and there should be risk professionals who can uh, identify the problem so that it should not be repeated in the future. And the senior management also should also identify the possible risk of this motorway chaos disruption, so that they can take proper action for the future. So the risk professionals should be there, and crisis response team also should be. There should be crisis response team.
Right. Because this thing can go big. And if 2 hours we are getting delayed, if the stakeholder is getting informed, the client, the customers who are waiting for us, they should also be informed with the help of technology and our applications.
Yeah, because this is also one of our values that we have in our after our mission, that we are very strict on the delivering the things on time.
Yes.
So that somewhere it is hitting.
Yes.
Just
Or maybe we can have one hour, if it is longer delivery, we can have 1 or 2 hours of buffer time, because that's also like being more practical.
correct.
If we just be very exact, it can be a problem, because every delivery we might have 1-2% of some inconvenience or some uncontrollable issues happening.
Correct. And we also have to check what our on-ground crew members were doing. Like before starting the truck, there should be some checking has to be done a few hours before, so that the breakdowns can be I mean handled before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Proper training of mechanics, proper,
Yes.
there are certain things which goes or affect the machinery, which like belts are there and a lot of other issues. So for that, we should have the raw materials available. We should have some training for the drivers also, right? We should
Correct.
have the mechanics, and the SOP should be very clear, and immediate support from our team through technology, connected to the system.
Correct. Like if you have seen this in the airlines, while loading the cargo on the aeroplane, there was a separate team, which actually check the mechanics of the aeroplane, on the same time. So that way also we can have a team or a automation kind of a thing we can also bring in this to check the sensors and all other things of the mechanical things we can check up front while the truck is loading. So that I think can have better like prevention.
Yes, it should be part of our SOPs actually. Before leaving
Correct.
only, we can do this.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll go to the financials. So basically, financials, before we start, how we have to look at it. If you see, financials have been shared for similar in the management case study also, operational case study also. So how it is different? Basically, if you compare to operational case study at the bottom of the pyramid, it's more about the costing, budgeting, and how things should be done. And middle level, it is about the reporting part. But at the strategic level, they are not expecting us to do the calculations. But obviously, we have to understand the numbers and understand how we are growing or slowing down. That will affect our strategy. We don't need to go in detail about it, but we have to just analyze it. And how we can analyze? Best way to analyze this is through ratios. We can get some idea if we just look it through our normally also. For example, if we see 21 revenue DAISTRUK, how much it was? 1
120.
billion, 1.8. Okay,
Yes.
now it went to 1.9. So revenue has gone up, but revenue has gone up doesn't mean that we have grown. That may be a lot of reasons for that. Maybe we have increased our pricing a little bit due to inflation or something, or maybe the cost has also gone up. Here if you see, the operating cost has also gone up. So we cannot just say because of revenue our business is going good. A lot of other things we have to understand. And simultaneously, if we just look one business, it can be difficult for us to see what is the growth. So therefore, CIMA will always give us a competitor which is of similar size and from the same economy. Then through comparison, we can understand how we are growing or not. For example, we have made 2% growth. 2% is also growth, but a similar competitor has made 20% growth. Then we can say, okay, we are not performing good. We are not up to the mark. Okay.
Right.
So there are certain ratios we need to do to understand it. Okay. So revenue has gone up slightly. If you see 179 million, okay. Operating cost has also gone up. Even operating cost has gone up more than that. So we have to see how we can reduce the operating cost. And what is the operating cost? We have to see what is the fixed cost, what is the variable cost, and how we can deal it. In our business, I believe we have a lot of fixed cost. For example, if we have drivers, we have to pay the salaries, maintenance of the vehicles. Maybe a lot of vehicles we don't own it, isn't it? We have to give the lease payments, EMIs kind of thing. Then we have warehouses. Some warehouses maybe we are owning, some we are on lease. Then we have to pay the lease payment and their maintenance. A lot of this can be the fixed cost. What can be the variable cost for our business?
Variable cost would be the repairs and maintenance of the trucks,
Repairs and maintenance. Okay.
and of course the spare parts that we use in the trucks. So could be the uh, variable cost, and Fuel expenses.
Fuel expenses, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, because it goes with the consumption, how much we
Yes.
use the truck. So
Right. Insurance premium, salaries, again, all of them are fixed costs only.
yeah, the salaries of drivers and those who are working in the warehouses, of course, it's a variable cost. Those who are in backend, fixed cost. Yeah. What else?
We have to look what can be the way. As we can understand here is more of them are fixed costs. When the revenues goes up, that operating cost is also going up. So ultimately there is no growth or profit for our business. So we have to look for options how we can actually reduce the fixed cost. For example, if you do things on economies of scale, at a bigger level. For example,
Mm.
servicing, if you talk about warehouse maintenance, if you talk about, so we can get certain discount if you're outsourcing also, if you're doing internally also, that thing should be considered.
Correct.
Operating profit has gone up by 30 million. Finance cost has gone up, that means we have taken certain loan. Maybe because of the loans this revenue of has gone up. Maybe we have acquired certain vehicles that has affected our revenue to go up. Finance cost obviously is good in a way because we are not giving away the ownership, and we can get the tax benefit also. But again, we have to see our gearing ratio. Gearing is debt to equity, how much it is. In normally, if it is more than 50%, it can be risky for the businesses. Tax expenses, as you see, 15, 12. Tax obviously has gone up. Then profit for the year is 100. Overall, good growth. So you can just put again as a SWOT analysis when we are dealing or when we are doing integrated reporting. Growth of the business is good. Okay. Now changes in equity, if you talk about, what is a statement of change in equity? So basically, what is the current amount of closing balance we have? What was the opening balance? How much profit we have? What is the retained earning? Okay, because retained earning is very important. Sometimes if it is a smaller investment and we have that much money, we can use retained earning as an investment. What is the value of a share? Okay, opening balance, share capital was 100 million R dollars, retained earning was 310. Yeah, but remember, retained earning is not equal to cash.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe some of that is there with you as a cash, but not all. Just because of the calculation, we are showing it like that. Then profit for the 110. This is simple. Dividend 92. So 92 out of 110 is actually quite high. On average, companies pay around 20 to 30% dividend. It can change according to the industry, but again, paying 92 million out of 110 is quite rare. If I do in percentage, it is coming to 83.63 or 83.64 percentage. Do you think it's a sustainable dividend to pay 92 million or 83% of the profit?
Of course not, because then we don't have anything to invest in the development or the expansion or any additional project.
Right.
And then
And
if we get some any new project, then it will be difficult for us to explain. And of course, it is possible, but then we need to explain to the shareholders why we are giving less dividend to the shareholders.
yes. Recently only we have invested a lot of money in the automation. Maybe that was the reason our finance cost has gone up, as we see in the page here.
We have taken a loan.
Yes. It mostly it's not sustainable because otherwise maybe it is one of dividend. If it is one of dividend, they would have communicated already. Otherwise, in normal 83 percentage or 92 million. Because as a shareholder, even if you pay the same 92 million next year, they won't be happy because they want a slight increase every year. But if we give away 83% or almost maximum part of the profit, how we'll have the money to invest in the project? As we see a lot of risk coming in, lot of investment need to be done in technology, right? When we have automated one of our ports, at the same time the requirement of technology has also gone up. If you are doing it in-house also, you need a lot of money. If you do outsource also, you need money. And you need some buffer account or buffer money also to balance when you are doing something for the first time, because we don't have experience in running that automated. In fact, we are the first one in Roundland.
So one question, Misbah, I mean, in India also, when there are people involved in some sort of heavy equipment industries, companies usually have some corpus fund which is parked into some, what they call is it's related to the accidents or something, is like just the news which we read about the road got blocked. So in
Right.
that case, company have to pay for something like penalties or compensation. So
Compensation, yes.
compensation. So we don't find any cost which is allocated for this.
Yes, that's a very good point. Maybe they would have kept it. It's a legal requirement,
Maybe.
means they have to 100%, but
Yeah.
it's not showed here.
Yeah, it is not mentioned in the financials, and otherwise they should have it. Right?
And even we have a lot of money going in the insurance. We have to insure almost everything here. Otherwise, our business cannot run. Loss of profit, health and safety, not delivering on time, almost everything is insured here. Therefore, I was saying we might even have our own insurance company also.
Hmm.
That is also a probability. Okay, so now changing dividend. Now just write it down. A dividend related question is also a priority. Why? Because it's not a sustainable dividend. If you reduce, it's a problem. Why? If you reduce a dividend, the shareholder will think company is not doing good. They don't have any profitable project. They might go down. It will affect the share price. And sustaining this means you don't have actually something to sustain. You don't have money to invest. And obviously, this business requires a lot of money. It's very expensive buying this machinery, getting the intellectual property, the rights, the licenses, isn't it? I believe here many a times we have to acquire companies just to get the licenses, because acquisition can be easier than acquiring getting the licenses, isn't it?
Correct. And when we just try to relate this paying dividends, I don't see very good performance in the share price also, because even if we are paying a higher dividends into the shareholders, the share price is still I see there is no improvement.
Yes, still struggling, and
Yes,
it's around 12, but it has touched around 16 in the past. So not going to that.
It's in a downtrend, correct?
Maybe just to keep the shareholders happy, they have given
That's
this much
fine.
dividend.
Because mostly these reputed companies, what they have they have this trend to pay the dividend in certain at a fixed amount or at a fixed percentage, so that it will not have impact on their reputation in the future if they are just changing their dividends over the time.
Yes,
Market cap.
that should be, we have seen that in F3 right shade pattern.
Yes, correct.
Something like that should be better for this stable company, especially when you're operating from 6 decades. You're listed from around 4 decades, so you have a lot of thing to maintain, a lot of reputation to maintain. If thing goes up, is fine, but even small reduction, there is a lot of problem in the market. Our perception will change. So dividend related topic can come up. We can discuss this point again when we are doing the F3. Okay, now coming to the financial position. Property, plant and equipment, as we guess, it has gone up, and maybe we have used the finance cost to raise the money here. Okay.
Yep.
In fact, if you see other way around, we are paying our own money in dividend, and we are raising money from outside to buy the plant and equipment, which is not a very good situation most of the time. In fact, you retain your own money and buy assets, right?
Exactly. So when I look at this gearing ratio, it is 0.39 in 2022. So
You have done debt by debt equity, right? Debt divided by debt plus equity.
I did it by debt divided by debt plus equity.
Yes,
6.39 comes up.
39%.
39%, yes.
So far it's good, but again we cannot go to a very good extent only taking a lot of debt, because it will affect the risk factor, it will affect the dividend, and we might not get the debt. But now it's good. 39 is good. Okay. So then second part is goodwill. Goodwill has not gone up. Again, as we say in this business, goodwill remains important. So companies need to see how we can goodwill is, or we can say goodwill, or we can say even our non-tangible assets. Non-tangible asset can also be part of goodwill. So our patents, our licenses, all of this also should come in here.
So
Okay.
it's not only the goodwill; it's also include the intangible asset you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. I was actually surprising why only goodwill is mentioned, and how do they value it?
Yes. So intangible asset. In general, what they do, the basic method, if something is $100 and people are paying 150, 50 is goodwill. But that 50 is maybe not of non-intangible assets, like their websites, their software, their data, everything, their experience in the market, their reputation for 60 years, all of that. So this thing also should go up for a business like DAISTRUK. Very important. When you want to go abroad, when you want to come up with the new products or diversification, everything. So again, here we can link this to our plan, what we discuss in corporate governance, tying up with the universities, investing in R&D, coming up with better and more efficient way of operation. Current asset inventory has gone up to 2 to 3 million. So as understood, this business will not have a lot of current asset with us. As expected, it's very low, just 3.
Yeah, inventory is negligible. Like
Maybe inventory here can be what? Some parts of the
parts.
vehicle,
Yes.
spare parts, maybe a little bit. What
Yeah.
else?
Could be some liquid like oils and everything that we stock for the truck. That also part of spare parts.
Okay. All in all, it will be very less.
Yeah, correct.
Maybe packaging material, then some wooden thing, all of that. Okay. Then trade receivables has gone up. That means we are doing some business in credit. That can be the trade receivables. As we have this big clients, we might be offering some credit services to them. Okay. Then current asset 28, it has gone up to 32. So if it is small investment, we can even say we can use this bank. So bank is usually not money we can utilize. Okay. Or cash at bank also sometime will write in the current asset. Current asset also gone up. Total asset is 946. Okay. Equity share capital 100 million. It's same we have seen in retained earnings 328, as we have calculated it here. So again, when you are saying if it is a smaller investment, you can say in your answer that we should use the retained earning. But remember, retained earning is not equal to cash. If it is 128, 100, 200, or you should write your answer in a clever way. You know, some part of the 328 million, if you have, can be used for the investment. What is share capital? Share capital is the total value of the share. Imagine if you do rights issue, what will happen? And if you give away free shares, so maybe the share, mostly the share capital will be same. Sometimes the share capital, the value of it can change. Share price can go down, plus the value of this can also be changed. Sometimes we can buy back shares. All in all can affect here. Okay, liabilities, borrowings has gone up 20 million. As we have seen, This may be the finance cost what we are paying. Still decent borrowings. Okay. Trade payables. Payable is 224. What kind of payables we might have?
Payments to the insurance companies for the premiums.
Okay.
Then payments to the spare part supplier vendors, like oils and all other things which we buy.
Yeah. Maybe to the cloud services also if you are taking from somewhere.
IT services that we are
IT services, cloud data storage basically.
Correct.
Raw materials purchase. That can be a lot of things.
There are many things, like we are also using shipping lines, airlines. They also charge us some fees for their use of airports and shipping ship vessels and everything. That will definitely come in trade payments.
Right. And we have tax liability. Tax liability has gone up a little bit from 13 to 14 as we have seen. So overall total equities and liabilities 946 to 889.
Yeah.
Overall company has done a decent growth over 1 year. Okay. Mostly we have to focus how we can deal with the receivables. If we can reduce receivables, always good for the business. Because when we do the quick ratio, current ratio, all of this can see the current cash flow of the business. Okay, what it does, it current asset to current liability. So current asset to current liability should be positive. That means we have cash in hand. Imagine current asset to current liability is negative. That means we have cash flow issue. We have to go for credit then.
Right.
Despite having lot of asset, it can affect the business.
So for us, I think I calculated already. It's a current asset is 1.36, and current asset and quick asset. Current ratio and quick ratio has no difference because inventory is very negligible. That's why it's same almost.
Yes, inventory is almost
So
negligible.
1.36, which is coming, which is good as per the industry standard. But industry standard is 2:1. Better to have 2:1, but then we only have 1.36.
Yes, 2:1 is but always should be 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please share that. Okay, and hopefully I'll get this Kaplan also familiarity ticket. In that they have analyzed everything.
You already correctly calculated.
Okay, Deepan, are you there? Are you following?
Yeah, I follow.
Yeah. Now we'll go to the competitors. DAISTRUK is one of the largest third-party logistic provider in Roundland. One of the largest, okay, not the number one. Its biggest competitor is Carry, which provides a similar range of service to DAISTRUK, including a full intermodal service, like more than one mode. The logistics industry is very competitive. Most large entities have outsourced this function already. The volume of available business depends on the level of economic activity. This is very important. Imagine a country where the economic situation itself is going down and which is uncontrollable. It will affect the logistic company. In the start only we have discussed. If the country is growing, if the economy is strong, the logistic business will grow. Because we are not directly related to one industry, but across industries. Now, if we talk about in Sri Lanka, obviously logistic company would have gone down. If we talk about China, logistic is booming. It was booming. It's still doing good. Even in Bangladesh, because of the clothing and all, it's still going up. So uncontrollable to us. So definitely we have to diversify the business. We have to do the proper risk management. Obviously, DAISTRUK is operating from so many decades. We might have seen situation where the economic situation is not good. So how we have dealt with the situation? Ideally, I believe we should go in a different country as well, market development. Then we can diversify the economic risk also. Maybe in one country the economic situation is down. It can be, maintained by other or a stronger economy in other place. Okay, write this point. This can be important thing. Because if people don't have money, then they won't buy the products or services. If they don't buy the product or services, businesses will not get money. If businesses will not get money, they will not do import, export, or logistics. It's an entire circle. Maybe that is not directly for the other industries or other business, but it is directly dependent to us. Straight away.
Exactly. Economy directly affects the trade, and if the trade is going on, it will affect the economy. It's integrated.
Yes. So carry group consolidated statement of profit and loss. They have not mentioned is a listed company or mostly it should be listed. Okay. Revenue for them also, if you see, they have a decent growth just like us. Operating cost also for them has gone up. Operating profit very less. That means their operating cost is higher than us. We have still managed it better. So for the competitors, you don't need to remember the numbers. We have to just remember, even for our company DAISTRUK, the important parts, important numbers or just ratios are fine. You can just give that as a reference in your answer. But competitors, just to analyze. No need to remember this. Okay. Finance cost is the same. They have not taken any financial loan. Ours is 14. They are maintained at 12. Then tax expenses still gone up because of the thing. Profit for the year is 182. Compared to us, how much was for us? 110. That means they are doing more than us. They are bigger than us in terms of revenue and profit. Maybe they are the leader and we are the second one.
Correct. In the numbers, they are bigger than us, but then percentage wise, we are doing better than them as compared to 2021.
Right. The growth for us is a little better. But in the current situation, they are bigger company than us, we can say.
Correct.
Earning balance, retained earnings was less there for them, profit for the year 182. Oh my God. They have also given a very big amount of dividend.
Exactly.
155 by 182. 85%. Very similar to us, 85.16. We have given 83, they have given 85. Maybe that's the industry trend. If all our competitors are giving, and if we don't, again it will affect the reputation.
Exactly.
So you can justify paying higher dividend. Remember, in exam, if you feel like we should continue paying 83, that's not a wrong answer. You can say that. And you can even justify by saying that carry is also doing it. But even they doesn't look very sustainable in terms of finance. Even the retained earnings were less. At least we have 300 something when we started. Or maybe because of the higher amount of asset we have so much of asset. So getting collateral is easy compared to other businesses. If we compare this to the previous pre-scene we have about food delivery, that time we have more intangibles, but here we have a lot of tangible asset. So getting loan can be easier here.
Yes.
Non-current asset has gone up again. Maybe here it's very common trend to acquire more and more asset, property, plant, and equipment every time. Maybe depreciation is also happening to maintain. Goodwill is again similar to us. Ours is 90s. They got 100, 692, 670. Inventory very similar. I think against the industry standard, same level of inventory will have, same products in inventory. Trade receivable has gone up here. Bank little bit they have retained the cash. Nothing much or nothing which is very weird or something to ponder. Very simple. Slightly gone up everything. Share capital is 300 again they have mentioned. You see share capital also. Ours is only 100 million. Yes, 300 million. You can imagine such a big company they are.
Yes.
Maybe tomorrow they can come and say, get acquired with us.
Yes, exactly.
They'll do share for share exchange. Together we can become 400 million. 25% you guys can own, the shareholders of DAISTRUK, and 75% we can own.
Correct.
Unless the competition authority comes in and say it may be a problem. Retained earnings, they have improved 105 to 132. It's okay. Non-current liabilities, borrowing is still same. 300. Our borrowing has increased, but still lesser than them, 280. Okay. Trade payables, 305. Tax liability gone up because of the profit. Tax and liabilities and. Okay.
Then if you look at their bank balance and our bank balance is almost same, despite they are having a huge numbers.
I think because they are not managing, they are less sustainable than us.
Correct.
They are paying so much of dividend. Even their retained earnings was not good. We started 310. They started around 100 only.
Correct.
105. So we are still good.
Yeah.
So now what we have to do is, the next step is, you guys have to calculate. I'll share that formulas again, and I'll also share the solution of the calculation. But if you do on your own, it's good. We need to know the gearing. Okay, debt by 8 plus equity. I think Suhas, you have already done it.
I have already done almost, but I have one question. Like, since they didn't mention the number of shares, so the P ratio and then what do you say, the earning per share,
EPS, earning per
very
share.
difficult to get, yeah. So the profitability we can calculate, but the balance sheet related, equity related formulas we cannot use. So it's like they will mention it into a question also. We need to prepare with this.
That's a good question. However, they don't expect us to do the calculation because it's part of individual F3. We have to just take it and rough idea. You can say it's $1 or $10 just for an idea. They don't ask anything. In exam, they might give. In exam, they want to test you on that. They'll give you the calculation, which would be already solved in the attached material. So no need to worry about it.
Great.
What you focus here is on gearing. What was the gearing for us? 39%.
Yes,
What's
39%.
the gearing for carry?
For gearing, carry is one second. Sure. Yes. Okay. Oh, I think I didn't mention it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that
you
only.
have to know the gearing, interest cover, dividends, interest rate also we don't need to know. Okay. They'll give everything but not important. Focus on gearing, interest cover, dividends, or we can just say dividend cover also, dividend percentage, one and the same.
Yeah.
These three are important. Then there are other things also, but not very important, but might help us. For example, return on capital employed, asset turnover, return equity kind of thing. Or we can say operating profit, how much it has grown. Basically, these numbers we can give as facts to say and justify our answer.
Yeah, their debt. I mean, their gearing ratio is 0.40, 0.41, like 41%.
41%.
Hmm.
So again, very similar to us.
Yes, very close.
Most of the things are looking similar. However, I don't think so. Both of us going together can be accepted by the competition authorities. They must be also very old company managing all of this.
Exactly. I foresee one possibility, like there could be a third company which can be acquired either by the carry or by the DAISTRUK.
Yes, possible. Maybe we have 2 ports now. Maybe this carry has 2 or 3 ports.
Yeah, they didn't mention, correct. But
They are also intermodal. They have not mentioned, but I believe they have good control.
yes.
Otherwise, they cannot have such level of revenue, such level of maintenance. What we have, they must be having at least that, if not more than that. They will have ports, they will have this railway connection, they will have a lot of these trucks, everything, roadways connection.
Exactly. But then when I look at their PP is also almost close for both the companies. The only difference which I feel is into revenue, top line revenues, which is very different. But then PP and assets are almost same.
Right.
So they must have these ports because
I believe they have almost everything what we have. They are managing ports. But only thing their port is not automated, as we know from the news.
because we are the first who came up with the automation in the
Yes.
ports.
Because here they have mentioned itself biggest competitor is Carry, which provides similar range of services. So in short,
Yes.
they have given us everything.
So one thing is missing in case of Carry also about their international exposure. They also don't have the international. Uh, I mean their footprints.
Yes. They have not mentioned are they operating in different countries. We cannot conclude, but we are just guessing.
Guessing right. Yes.
What else we can add here?
Mm, I think as such.
Deepen, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Did you reach now or still traveling?
Oh, almost reached.
Almost. Okay. So that's it from finance. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing more to do. What we'll do next is when we'll do F3. Okay. Pre-scene is something which we have to continuously keep looking at it almost daily. Whatever analysis we are doing, if you're doing P3, if you're doing F3,
Yeah,
everything. A lot of financial risk will come from here as well. This analysis just started. I won't say it's concluded because we have to always look in conjunction until we are going for the exam. Overall, one thing we can understand or maybe preliminary conclude is the financials are pretty stable for both of them. Okay. The economic situation
yeah,
of Roundland is good. Why? Because both of them has growth. It's not only one company. Economic situation is good. Both of their financial is stable. Maybe the market is not saturated still. That also we can understand. Reason how we can understand the third point, because we have invested so much money and so much futuristic thing in the port. Obviously company might have done the future analysis, sustainable analysis. Also there
yeah,
is a good demand of export and import, because if
Mm.
you have invested in the roadways, maybe it is internal logistic, but when we are doing at seaport or airports, what does it mean? We are open for international trade,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
that may be a gateway for us to go into the new country as well. And here getting in contact with the government support also remains very important. We have to uh, utilize the expertise at the board that can help us to grow. Overall company is in good position. Only thing is our share price is not very good. It's okay. Even the dividend is not sustainable. That's the two primary thing you have understand, which is not normal.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just stopping to record.